if I'm working at home and I, let's say, go to the kitchen to get something and I trip and fall, would that be covered by workers' compensation? And what's interesting is the answer is yes, it would. It would. It's as if you were physically in the office, and if you were physically in the office, and then on your way to the kitchen or the bathroom or wherever you were involved in a work-related, let's say you slip and fall, um, that would automatically entitle you to workers' comp benefits. It doesn't change if you're working and you trip and fall at home. Certainly, I think there's going to be a lot more cynicism and negativity from the insurance side of things as it relates to that, because they're going to be like, well, you could have done it anywhere kind of thing. But nonetheless, if you have been working from home and you have sustained an injury as a result of whatever, then you are by law entitled to receive those workers' comp benefits. So they would have to provide you medical treatment. You would have to be, if you were out of work, you'd get paid for being out of work. And then you would be entitled to receive an award for your injury. So the same benefits apply if you were injured while working, but at home. The other thing to really be aware of is that workers' compensation, when it comes to when do you have to file a claim by? So, workers' comp in New Jersey is a little bit different. And I was actually just talking to somebody yesterday about this. Normally, if you're in a car accident, you only have 2 years from the date of the incident in which to pursue a claim. All right. However, workers' compensation says that you have 2 years from the date that you last provide a benefit. So, what that means basically is that you have 2 years from the date that they send you to or pay for a doctor. Or if you're, let's say you get hurt and you're out of work for 6 months, then they have to, and they pay you for 6 months. Your 2 years won't start to run until you receive the final benefit. So if you receive a year worth of medical treatment, then your 2 year window to file a workers' comp claim does not start to run until you receive the final payment. Now, that's important because the idea is that the legislature, the law of New Jersey, wants to try and include as many work-related injuries as possible. All right. So that's why they try and do that. But the law is very clear, is that you have 2 years from the date that you last receive a benefit in which you can file a claim. All right. Now, if the claim is denied, that is, the employer is saying that it never happened, or the insurance company is saying it never happened at work. Well, in that situation, you're going to only have 2 years from the date of the accident. But if they're denying it, hopefully you'll wind up contacting an attorney like myself prior to any kind of time delays. All right. But a lot of the times we hear all the time is that we'll hear like a client will say, well, I like my employer and they did everything they needed to do. They provided me benefits, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's great. That's good news. But sometimes there's a reality to the fact that they're not there to help you. And if you don't pursue the claim, then you may not also be entitled to future benefits. What I mean by that is, when a workers' compensation case settles in New Jersey, and you are by law, if the condition were to get worse, you maintain the right to reopen the case as long as we do that within 2 years, again, of getting the final benefit. So if your case settles and your condition gets worse, the insurance company is still responsible to provide medical treatment for the worsening of the condition, even after the case settles. So, but you don't maintain that right. You don't maintain that right until you pursue the original claim and get an award through workers' comp. So anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the timing of that because it's important to understand that if somebody is, let's say, an insurance company is doing the right thing and they are providing all of the treatment that's necessary, et cetera, then and you don't want to necessarily file a claim right away because they're doing what they're supposed to do, that's okay. and time is not ticking, if you will, in workers' compensation because, again, you have that 2-year window from the date that you last receive a benefit. So, again, if the insurance company is providing a year worth of benefits and nothing happens in the sense that everything's still going smoothly, your 2-year window, that 2-year time frame, hasn't even started to run since they're still providing benefits. Okay, so that's that. So the other thing I did want to make mention was that any benefit that anyone receives, any dollar benefit that you receive through workers' compensation, those are tax-free dollars. You do not declare it as income. It is not considered income. And so that's important. Somebody was asking, they had received workers' comp and then they were collecting, or they had just been approved for Social Security, and Social Security had sent a tax form, and there was a question that had come up, well, what about my workers' comp? So I wanted to make sure that everybody understands that if you do, in fact, receive a workers' comp award, or the money that you receive from workers' compensation while you're going through the process, the temporary disability benefits, all of those benefits are tax-free. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. The other important thing that I wanted to make sure is that everybody understands that if you work for the state, or if you work for a county or a township, if you work for either of those entities, or any of those entities, if you're out and you're receiving workers' compensation benefits, okay, here's the most important thing: your employer must make your pension contributions for you while you're out on workers' compensation. Now, there are organizations, there are employers who are very notoriously bad at making sure that they do that. What's very important is to make sure that when you're out on workers' compensation, that you're always checking with your pension to make sure the contributions are being made. Usually, they're about a quarter behind. They're about 3 months behind, but you want to make sure that the pension benefits are being made. And if not, you want to write a letter to the audit department at the Division of Pensions and Benefits. And you write to them and you say, I was out on workers' comp and I don't think my employer made my contributions. And the audit department will become your collection agent. They will do the work for you. They will contact the employer and they will get the employer to make those contributions for you. So if in fact that happens, or if you're out and you are normally getting those contributions, then we'll go from there. What happens if your county employer still refuses? If they do not make those contributions and pensions is unable to provide a benefit, that is, they're unable to get the money, then you have the right to actually file a lawsuit in Chancery Court, because although it's money, it's specific performance. That is, they are required by law and the New Jersey Supreme Court to make those contributions. So there's a particular, what's called an order to show cause, that you can file in Chancery Court that would require the employer to satisfy the requirement.